5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday morning. I hope you're doing well. Beautiful day out there. A little bit cooler than I shouldn't say than usual. I guess it is usual for October 28th. But anyway, thank you for listening. Boy, we've got a great book to talk to you about. And I know that Robin was looking forward to speaking to our author. So right now she's probably disappointed that she can't be here. Elizabeth Hein is on the phone. If Elizabeth is anything like her character Laura Blaine, then she must be a fun person to hang out with, in spite of the fact that she and her character have both gone through cancer. Elizabeth is a cancer survivor. It says here, now this is not my words, these are in my material, I don't know if she wrote this or not, a coffee snob, not so sure what that means, and she writes about people who go unnoticed in life, and I just want to say one thing about that. Years ago, when I was an activities director at an assisted living facility, this is another lifetime ago, I actually had this idea to walk around to the different people who lived there, for the most part, who were in the last years of their lives, as well as the staff. And I just said, is there anybody famous you've ever met, or anything famous you've ever done, or anything? It was amazing how many people had connections, either to somebody who was famous or something they actually did that was like world known. And these are people basically who have gone unnoticed, with the exception of their family. And so I created this little newsletter that gave a little one page about each one of these people, and it was amazing how, oh my gosh, I never knew that you knew Lindbergh, or I believe it or not, I never knew that you ate with the president. I never knew that you went into the space shuttle, not to fly in it, but there was one lady who said she actually got to sit in the space shuttle when it was on the launching pad. Elizabeth Hein has this awesome book, How to Climb the Eiffel Tower, and it is a novel about life and cancer, and I can't help but wonder, and I guess I'll find out right now, how closely Laura Blaine resembles Elizabeth Hein. Elizabeth Hein, good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning.
How are you?
Laura, I'm very well, and I think it's interesting that you ask if Laura resembles me. Not that much, hopefully, because Laura's kind of a fearful individual, but she does borrow from my life.
It's funny you say fearful. I got the feeling she was a fun person.
Well, she ends up being a fun person by the end of the book, but at the beginning she's kind of closed off and a little fearful of the world because, she's had a hard life. In that, she was abused as a child and then she's diagnosed with cancer. But the character does borrow from me to a certain extent in that we're both book nerds and kind of live in our books.
Coffee snob? What's a coffee snob?
Yeah, and coffee snob. But I'm very particular about the type of coffee I drink.
Really?
I was prepared, and I have my little French press and my cappuccino machine, and my husband and I have become really kind of a little over the top.
Elizabeth, let me ask you a simple question. Where are you right now? Where are you calling from?
I am in Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Okay. Oh, I love that area. Have you gone to the Eiffel Tower?
I have been to the Eiffel Tower 3 times now in my life. I have not actually climbed all the way to the top. I climbed up to the first level, which was plenty for me.
Uh-huh.
My husband kept going and climbed all the way up to the top. It's lovely there. I love Paris.
I've never been. So there's no elevator, huh?
There is an elevator. I took the elevator all the way to the top.
Okay, all right. But that must be the challenge then, to walk the staircase or something?
Yes, there's a challenge to walk up the staircase. And and the title comes from the fact that Laura, at the beginning of the book, is a gym rat, and she climbs the Eiffel Tower every Tuesday on the stair stepper. And the other main character, Jane, encourages her several times throughout the book to actually go to Paris and climb the Eiffel Tower and live the whole experience.
Wow, it's a great title, and it comes up quickly when you go to Amazon. I mean, there's not another book with even a title close. All you do is How to Climb, and your book comes up. I don't know if you knew this or not.
I did. I Google myself all the time.
Which, by the way, I mean, you have some really good reviews from your readers. How long has the book been out?
It came out on the 1st of this month, so less than a month.
Oh, wow, and you're already doing well with it. Well, good for you.
We've been really lucky to have some really great reviews, and people have responded to it very well. And something that kind of makes me feel particularly good about the reviews is that many of those are from cancer survivors or people who are close to people who are going through cancer.
Yeah.
And, that was very satisfying to feel like that it spoke to them and that they felt a kinship to Laura and Jane.
So tell us a little bit about Laura. Am I saying it right? Lara, yeah.
Lara.
All right.
Lara. She made up her own name, and it's based on the character from Dr. Zhivago.
Right.
So she liked that, so Lara, as in Lara's theme. And Lara is a person who is very successful in life in that she is a commodities analyst, and she's very bright, and she reads extensively, but she lives a very small life. When we first meet her, she goes to the gym every day, she eats the same thing every day, she lives on a very strict schedule because she had a difficult childhood and kind of feels confined. And then she gets diagnosed with cervical cancer. And on the day that she is getting diagnosed, she meets this woman, Jane, in the waiting room, and they strike up a conversation. And that's where the book kind of takes off. And the story follows their friendship and how that friendship transforms Laura's life throughout that cancer treatment.
I want to explore that a little more without giving away too much of the book, but I want to tell you something real quickly. First of all, my mom loved the song Lara's Theme. For some reason, that was one of her favorite songs. And my mom was also a cancer survivor.
Oh.
And one of the things I want to tell you about that was that when she would go for, and forgive me if I'm saying the wrong thing, I don't know if it was chemo or radiation, but she'd go to something that was with other people in the room.
That's probably chemotherapy.
That was chemo. Okay, so other people are in the room, and she would be, after she was all done, she would sometimes get invited to come back because she was such a positive person among many people who weren't positive. And maybe that's what I was thinking of when I was thinking about the positiveness of Lara.
Yes, and I went through chemotherapy and radiation, and there are those people in the chemo room that make the day better, who are pleasant, who are fun to talk to, and make the awful hours of being attached to a machine go by quickly and pleasantly. And I'm sure it sounds like your mom was that gal in the room. And Lara...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and also I found in the waiting room was an interesting place. I'm a student of psychology. I studied that in school and continued to study that. And I found that when you sit down in an oncology waiting room or a chemotherapy waiting room, all those social mores go out the window. People actually talk to each other. People would tell me their life stories. I met somebody in the radiation phase of my treatment that inspired some of the characters in the book, in that I had known her for a minute, and she told me that no one else knew that she had cancer. She hadn't told her husband, her coworkers, but she was telling me, and I felt like, wow, my goodness, this is way too big of a responsibility in life. But we got to know each other because when you're in radiation, you go every day for several weeks at the same time every day. You see the same 5-10 people every day, and you develop relationships with these people and a real bond because you're going through the same thing
at the
same time. Talk about symptoms and side effects and your life.
Did you, and this is probably an off-the-wall kind of a question, but did you notice a connection between attitude and healing? I don't know if healing is even the right word, but you know what I mean, recovery?
You know what I did see a link to was attitude and managing the side effects. Outcome, I don't know how much attitude can really help the final outcome, but I think your attitude can help you get through the experience. Especially during chemo, you have, they help you as much as they can, but there's some icky side effects, and radiation as well. And if you kind of have a good attitude and take care of yourself, it can make that experience a little bit better for you. If
you had created the character Lara Blaine without the cancer part of her life, since you are her god and you created her, right? You're the god of Lara, and you didn't give her the cancer background, the cancer diagnosis, would she have been a different person at the end of the book?
Yes, absolutely, she would have been a different person. The only other way I could have made her come through this transformation is if I, as her, like you say, as her God, if I had something else terrible happen to her that forced her to need other people and connect to other people. Because the key is that Laura was not connecting to people before she had cancer, and the cancer weakened her enough so that she was forced to accept love and friendship and support from total strangers, and that's what makes her different by the end of the book.
Isn't that interesting? And did you craft her that way? I guess I'm seeing a connection, not a connection, but a similarity in what I believe is the God that created me, and you and all of us, and the things we have to go through, so that maybe at the end of our story, we are the character that God wants.
Well, there's something to be said for the trials that we go through, or to put it in a real Christian framework, the crosses that we bear, and the burdens that we bear that shape us as people, and you can choose to let it break you or to become stronger.
But I think the insight of you as an author to create a character like that is probably why you're getting a lot of 5 stars on the Amazon. In fact, you got all 5 and 4s. And I know the people who get the 4s. These are the real hard-nosed ones. I'm familiar with the books enough to know that the ones who, if it's a book that deserves a 5 and somebody gives it a 4, they just, for some reason, they just don't give it a 5 ever. I don't know what.
Well, and everybody's rating system in their own head is different, and I know that earning a 4-star from certain people is
like a 5.
Yeah. And that's why I never let the stars really bother me. I look at the words in the reviews, because for instance, for my first book, Overlook, I got a 3-star review from somebody I actually know, which was a little weird, but the words were nice. So I was like, oh, well, if he's just a tough reviewer, I'm not going to
Sure. Yeah. How to Climb the Eiffel Tower is the title of the book. Elizabeth Hein wrote the book. It comes with a book. Well, the one I have, the one I'm going to give away at the end of the interview, comes with a bookmark with a little tiny Eiffel Tower charm, which I think is awesome. Does that come with all the books?
No. Just special people got those.
Oh, that was just for the promotional thing. Okay.
Yes. Well, or if you meet me, if you come to a book signing, and I will be in Florida in January.
Where are you coming to? What city?
Well, I think I'm going to be at least in DeLand at the Family Bookshop.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there may be somewhere in Ocala. It's on my calendar. I think there's a brandy new indie bookstore that hasn't even opened yet, maybe, or has just opened. But I'll be in the general central-ish area of Florida in the middle of January.
Well, your publicist is Heather. Heather works with us all the time. So let's make sure that if you're in Ocala, you can come into the studio and talk about your book signing.
That would be great.
Elizabeth, we need to take a weather break, and we'll be right back with more from Elizabeth Hein and talking about her book, How to Climb the Eiffel Tower. We'll be right back after this.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Seeing partly cloudy conditions in your forecast for the next couple of days. This afternoon, partly cloudy, highs between 84 and 86. Then this evening, partial cloud cover, lows 63 to 68. And for tomorrow and Thursday, partly cloudy skies, highs between 83 and 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Sarah Lauer.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
Your weekends are getting a little retool.
Swear to God, not making a joke.
Check this out.
New shows? Check. Some new talent? Check. Let's welcome the guys.
Let's get it going.
Arnie Spanier.
Unbelievable.
TJ Reeves.
This is what you get.
Your weekends are on fire. Because that's how exotic it is.
All right, 21 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday morning. Elizabeth Hein is on the phone up in North Carolina and coming to Florida, it sounds like in January, to promote her book. The book is called How to Climb the Eiffel Tower, a novel about life and cancer. Elizabeth Hein herself is a cancer survivor, and we learned earlier, a coffee snob, and in fact, that's what it says in her bio material that was sent to me. And is this your second book, Elizabeth? Am I right about that, or are there others?
No, it's my second book.
All right.
First book is called Overlook.
Overlook. And were you trying to simply tell a story with this one, or are you trying to, because the reviews, when I read the reviews, it sounds like, the first one on Amazon anyway is the lady who, it sounds like a lady who was a cancer survivor, was hoping that it wasn't going to fluff up the whole cancer experience, and you did not do that, obviously.
I was very conscious of not making it too fluffy as she used, or kind of glossing over it. But I was also conscious of not making it too graphic, and to giving kind of the nasty details of it. I wanted it to be accessible to people who are cancer survivors or friends of cancer survivors, and also just the general public. When I first sat down 8 years ago to write this book, I started out writing it as a memoir and as kind of a series of essays, and that was too academic and a little boring. A little boring. And so then Laura came to me one day, and I was like, I'll write this as fiction, actually, and I wanted to concentrate on the role of friendship and support and in cancer, because in my experience, my family rallied around me and were invaluable, and I can't imagine what it would be like.
Was there a Jane in your story?
Jane is based on several people in my life. Partially, the women I met, but also there's little bits of Jane that are my father-in-law, actually.
Oh, really? Does he know?
He was. Yeah, he's read the book. He enjoyed it very much, but he was a businessman. He had just retired when I got sick, and he came with me to all my treatments. I had a PICC line hanging out of my arm for 6 months, and that needed to be treated every day. And
wow.
He was there with heparin every day, helping me out. And talk about stepping up. He was fabulous.
Yeah, wow. Well, that'll stick with you for the rest of your life. The readers who buy the book for the first time, not knowing what to expect, is it similar to the first book?
In that it's my voice, in that I tend to write a snarky, kind of funny book. That's who I am as a writer. It is less frivolous, I guess, than Overlook. Overlook is a look into a snooty subdivision in central North Carolina, and about kind of a little bit more over the top, very much Desperate Housewifey.
Okay.
Comparison people make it to. This is a more serious book.
Elizabeth, we have the phone lines open, and I am getting calls. Do you want to take some?
Oh, sure. I'd love to talk to people.
All right. Good morning. You're on the air with Elizabeth Hein.
Hey, good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Larry. I got a quick question for you, Elizabeth. I understand that you may touch on it. I've had family members go through the old chemotherapy thing for years at a time and beat cancer. What's your opinion? We have an Amendment 2 coming up soon. You're a survivor. What's your opinion of using marijuana for easing the problems with chemotherapy and such? And I'll hang up and get the answer. Thank you, Elizabeth.
All right.
Okay. Well, I don't know anything about your referendum or amendment there. but I did do a little research on the use of marijuana. And if your doctor feels that it's a good use and that it'll help you, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, and I think that's what the amendment is supposed to allow is for doctors to make that decision for you.
And it seems like they can do so much with pills now and stuff that seems fine.
Elizabeth, I have a kind of a question about hiding behind a pseudonym. When an author writes under a fake name, it's often so that they don't have to reveal a whole lot about themselves. And in your case, you've kind of exposed yourself in a way because you've kind of let us know that there are some similarities, and the cancer being the big one. Were you worried at all, or were you concerning yourself at all about interviews like this being focusing on the cancer part rather than the story part?
A little. I was a little leery of that, but I kind of got over that fairly quickly. I don't have anything to hide, kind of thing, and I was willing to. I had to kind of steel myself to be like, all right, I'm going to talk about my cancer again.
Yeah, right. That's what I wondered about. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a little tricky the first few times, but kind of center yourself and you get through.
We have another phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Elizabeth Hein.
Yes, good morning, ma'am. My sister-in-law has breast cancer, and it was about 15 years ago, and now it's reappeared again, and she's going to be in for a lot of different treatments and that. Would this book be appropriate to give her to encourage her along a little bit?
I think so. She's already been through cancer once, and now I'm sorry to hear that she's, having a recurrence. So if I would definitely recommend it to anybody who's going through cancer and to her friends as well on how they can be supportive to somebody going through cancer. And I think she might get some encouragement and some respite from her everyday battle with it right now.
Well, Elizabeth, again, when you're in Florida, hopefully you'll be able to come here in Ocala and be in the studio with us. We had an author here from DeLand, happens to be a lady I really didn't know, but apparently I went to school with her up in New York. She and I went to school at the same time, and so I got to be friends with her on Facebook, et cetera. And I know she had a book signing just a few weeks ago in DeLand. I don't know if it's the same place where you're going to be. I have a copy of Elizabeth's book. It's called How to Climb the Eiffel Tower, and it does come with a bookmark that has an Eiffel Tower charm on it, which is, I guess, a one in a kind, or just a few promotional people got it, and I'm a promotional person. So if you want the copy that Elizabeth sent to me, call me right now, and I'll put your name on it. It'll be waiting for you. You get the book and the charm, of course. And Elizabeth, do you have a website so we can go buy the book? Other than Amazon?
ElizabethHein.com. It's very straightforward.
H-E-I-N is how you spell Hein?
H-E-I-N, yes.
All right. And Amazon, obviously, is it in the bookstores?
It is. In many bookstores, some smaller bookstores, you might just need to ask them to special order it. It's not on the shelves everywhere yet. So.
All right. Well, I'm sure that Robin is disappointed she wasn't able to chat with you. I know that she enjoyed the book greatly. So, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being on the air with us today, and good luck. And again, contact us when you're in Florida, okay?
I will. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Garden, and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
This is James Snyder inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy, right here on WOCA 1370.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. A friend of the surviving Boston Marathon bombing suspect's been convicted of lying to the FBI. Prosecutors say he lied about being in Joe Karzarnayev's room, while two other friends removed potential evidence. Nurse Casey Hickok's back in Maine out of an Ebola quarantine in New Jersey. Officials want her to finish the 21-day isolation period at home. She says that's beyond the guidelines.
Those guidelines call for monitoring, not quarantine. Hickox didn't show Ebola symptoms after volunteering in Sierra Leone, but became the first person forced into New Jersey's mandatory quarantine after a forehead scan done at Newark Airport showed a fever.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. In the World Series, the Giants' Jake Peavy on the mound tonight.
Can't imagine anything being any sweeter than that. That's what you play for.
Peavy takes on Royals rookie 23-year-old Yordano Ventura, a rematch of Game 2 where the Royals won.
Fox Radio's Jeff Mendoza. The Giants lead the series 3-2. Fox News, we report, you decide.
I'm Lex Friedman. I run my own business, so I know from experience, hiring new employees can be tough. Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites, and now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 50-plus job sites, including Craigslist, LinkedIn, and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 200,000 businesses. And right now, our listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/info. That's ZipRecruiter.com/info. One more time, to try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/info.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Here are today's headlines from The Source, WOCA. Governor Rick Scott is defending his decision to monitor anyone coming from Ebola-affected countries, saying yesterday that it's the right thing to do to protect Floridians. Scott said his executive order would ensure that the state wards off an outbreak and goes beyond actions by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Scott's weekend order gives state health officials authority to do twice daily monitoring of individuals arriving from places the CDC designates as affected by Ebola. Federal health officials have been critical of quarantines of medical workers returning from West Africa, saying it could discourage volunteers from traveling to the danger zones. An undercover operation in Osceola County resulted in 5 men being arrested and charged with soliciting sex from a child via the internet and other sex and drug-related crimes. During the operation, undercover detectives posed as juveniles or the parent or guardian of a juvenile to talk with individuals in chat rooms and instant messaging programs on the internet. Suspects would travel to a meeting location which was located in Osceola County with the purpose of having sex with a child. The Osceola County Sheriff's Office worked in conjunction with the Central Florida Internet Crimes Against Children. Agencies that assisted include the Citrus County Sheriff's Office, the Lake County Sheriff's Office, the Orlando Police Department, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, the Polk County Sheriff's Office, the St. Petersburg Police Department, the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, and the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. Drilling opponents are taking advantage of campaign pressures to demand limits from both gubernatorial candidates on energy exploration near the state's shores and to press for a ban on fracking, which blasts open underground rock to tap oil deposits. Scott and his Democratic challenger, Charlie Crist, are responding by burnishing their environmental credentials and talking tough about fracking. One immediate result is a dramatic shift by the State Department of Environmental Protection. The agency approved 37 permits over the last 5 years to expand oil exploration in the western Everglades, but this year began aggressively enforcing limits on extraction methods, even driving one Texas wildcatter out of the state. It's a tougher policy that environmental activists hope will continue well beyond the elections, no matter who wins. A dozen people who have family members in Florida prisons staged a protest at the governor's office in Tallahassee yesterday. They claim inmates are being tortured, starved, and murdered, and that the prison system does its best to cover up. State agents are already investigating the deaths of more than 100 inmates behind bars, and the corrections secretary has promised real reform. A space station delivery mission was called off yesterday just hours after the orbiting lab had to sidestep a piece of treacherous junk. Orbital Sciences Corporation got to within the 10-minute mark of the Virginia launch of its unmanned Cygnus capsule, but a sailboat ended up in the restricted danger zone, and controllers halted the evening countdown. The Virginia-based company will try again tonight. Early yesterday afternoon, space station flight controllers steered the complex and its 6 inhabitants away from satellite wreckage. The debris would have passed within 0.2 of a mile of the space station if not for the maneuver. Mission Control was informed of the space junk over the weekend. It is wreckage from a Cosmos satellite that was launched in 1993 and collided with an Iridium spacecraft in 2009. The unmanned Cygnus capsule on the pad at Wallops Island, Virginia, holds 5,000 pounds of cargo. And those are the headlines from The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Seeing partly cloudy conditions in your forecast for the next couple of days. This afternoon, partly cloudy, highs between 84 and 86. Then this evening, partial cloud cover, lows 63 to 68. And for tomorrow and Thursday, partly cloudy skies, highs between 83 and 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Sarah Lauer.
Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on The Source, WOCA. Don't miss Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement with your hosts, Francois Cousinet and Julianne Cousinet. They'll be giving you information about your retirement funds and answering your questions with live call-in. So don't miss it, Saturdays from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. Planning for a Better and Safer Retirement right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM.
Today in Florida Ag News from the Southeast AgNet, cotton producers across the Southeast are being invited to attend the Cotton Incorporated's upcoming 2014 Crop Management Seminar. It'll be held November 12th and 13th at the University of Georgia Tifton Campus Conference Center in Tifton, Georgia. Now, the topics will include an economic and environmental focus on keeping cotton sustainable. Dr. Ed Barnes, Cotton Incorporated's Senior Director of Agricultural and Environmental Research, says they are actually trying something new this year.
Historically, this seminar has been every other year, usually in the Mississippi Delta. It's been more than 10 years since we've tried having this seminar in the Southeast, but with all the cotton we have across the Southeast U.S. in general, we felt like it was time to bring the seminar back. And so we're going to try to hit a lot of hot topics that we feel will be relevant to producers and consultants and extension workers in the Southeast. One of the things I want to mention that's different with the format than we've done in the past is this is going to be a 2-day program. If someone looks at the program and only wants to come to one of those days, that's fine. We understand everybody's busy. But each morning we'll have more of a lecture-oriented session, and then in the afternoon after lunch, we'll go into breakout groups.
So Barnes encourages cotton producers to register now for the 2014 Crop Management Seminar. That's November 12th and 13th in Tifton, Georgia. Seating will be limited, so register today at cottoninc.com.
Ready to gear up and go? That's the sound of a Kubota M-Series tractor with emission-friendly Kubota diesel particulate filter technology to help keep things cleaner and more efficient while you work. Get comfortable in the available Grand Cab with more features than you ever thought you'd find in a mid-size tractor. Make it yours with low-rate long-term financing available now. Kubota M-Series tractors, built for the best things in life. Gear up and go at Kubota.com to find a dealer near you.
Randall Wiseman, Southeast AgNet.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.